everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're going to start putting some bits and pieces back together on the old Fordson here. Now we're going to put the hand crank in now. I've got this end of it together. Then we'll shelve it through the bulkhead and put the rest of it on. There we are. We got it installed with the rear spring, the cross pin, which is what actually engages the end of the crankshaft, and you can see 90 degrees to that there's a split pin that goes through and holds it all together. Outstanding. So how it works, you can see here, you push it in and compress that spring to engage it with the engine. When it starts, there's a helix there which kicks it out, and then you pull back on it. You pull back and you put tension on that inner spring, and that'll hold it against the clip in the grill. Now we can put it's like a shutter, but it's a radiator blind. We'll put that on. So here's our radiator blind. It's a reproduction part. These things are going to slide through it like that, and then we'll go install it on the radiator. So there it is installed. You have to remember, these tractors do not have a thermostat. I was really considering, when I put this thing together, to make a plate to go in between there and actually put a thermostat in it, but I never did it once I found out that you can buy this stuff reproduction. It worked in the this is stuff right from the old, the original Fordson tractors from the, the teens and the 20s. They had these things on them. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for this. Now we can put the grill on, and I'll show you how you can still access this when the grill is on. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go, but when I stretched the blind out, it was too tall to fit between the bolts. So I'm assuming that this one fits below these ears just to keep it at the bottom. And then you see you can get at the ends of it here, so you can move the thing up and down. That's awesome. So there we go. Now all we have to do is put the clip in for the crank, so the crank will stay up like that. Well, that's super cool, isn't it? I think I'm gonna have to move this thing back. I've lost my little path through here. But anyway, that's good for now, how it is. So what we're gonna do now is get the headlights put back on. I want to sand this out a little bit in here, so hopefully I can pick up the chassis ground and I don't have to have the extra ground wires like we had on with the other headlights. Well, it's coming together nicely now. We got our headlights on. I installed the tube for the wiring that runs the lights and the generator and the ignition. And we've installed our little dash panel, or at least the box for it. So all the wiring will come up into it through these grommets here, and then we can attach the wires to the various components in there. We've got our components mounted in the back of our dash panel. Now we'll get that just kind of stuck on the box on the steering column so we can see what it looks like. Well, there we go. That's pretty cool. Couple of things we had to do. This is your typical Fordson light and ignition switch. This originally would not have had the one with the key, as the key is for turning the ignition on and off, and these never had battery ignition. They had a magneto. This is actually a switch from a Super Major or a Dexta, but you just can't get the old one without the key anymore. Now, if you were using it with the magneto, you would just run it like that and not worry about the key. But we have a battery ignition, so we'll keep the key. The original amp meter was destroyed. It was junk. So lucky I found this little Stuart Warner one, which kind of keeps with the, the British theme of things. The starter push button should be a nice Lucas one that goes on with 3 screws here like this, but I didn't have one. I could buy a new one, but they're over $100. And I'm not willing to spend that at the moment. So we just use this one. It's from a 9N. And it works just fine. I didn't hack anything up to put it in. So if we ever find the proper Lucas one, we can just install it there. And lastly, we got a new steering wheel. Now, Fordson aficionados may say, hey, that thing's supposed to have a big aluminum steering wheel on it. And you would almost be correct. But this one is a 1951. It is one of the last ones built before they switched over to the new Major. And they actually introduced this steering wheel on the last batch of these E27 Majors. This is the same steering wheel that fits on a new Major. So that's the right steering wheel for it. I mean, it's a plastic steering wheel is the right. This is not exactly the correct one, but it was what I got for cheap on eBay. Still dealing with the aftermath of the blizzard of 22 around here. Last night we got about another inch of snow, and today it's mild. I see it's raining a bit now, so I guess I'll put these guys in the house. They love it outside. They're what we call northern dogs. They're bred from sled dogs way up north, and they don't care what it's doing outside. They just want to be outside. They're well insulated for it. That one, even though he looks like a yellow lab, you should feel the coat on him. It's a soft, plush. It's about an inch thick. There's a lot more fur on him than it looks like. Anyway, let me get them in the house and we'll get back to work on the old Fordson. Now we can start running some wire around on this thing. So this here, this comes out. This is for the dynamo or the generator and the ignition and the horn. For the headlights, I run two separate cables up through the tube here that will terminate up here in the box, of course. And we're going to use for that 16-3 wire. I'll show you what we've got. Keep this in mind if you're working on these things. This is 16-3 wire. I used to buy this stuff off the roll at the store. You know, I'd buy 20 or 30 feet of it and it would get me through a few tractors. This is really handy. 16-3 is my favorite. Mostly I use it on those Fords and Fergusons to run the lights to the back of them. So I've got 3 conductors in there. So one for the flashers, one for the tail light, one for the work light. It makes sure that everything gets plenty of current. But on this one, because it's English and it's got in each headlight, there's a marker light plus a high beam and a low beam. I need 3 conductors each going to the headlights. So we're going to use this stuff for that also. Problem was I didn't have enough. So I went to the store to get some. And I guess due to the supply chain issues that we keep hearing so much about and inflation and blah, 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 this stuff on the roll was over $9 a meter. That is over $3 a foot. I said, you got to be kidding. $3 a foot for wire? But right beside it were these 34-foot extension cords for $34. They're 16-3 and it's $1 a foot. So that's what I got, was one of these. So keep that in mind if you're doing a project like this. If the price of cut wire seems a little ridiculous, just buy a bloody extension cord and cut it up. That's what we're going to do. I've got most of the wiring laid in now, up here into the apparatus box, or whatever you want to call it. And what we've got to do now, it's hard to see, but there's 2 clips. Gonna put the light on? Oh, there we go. There's 2 clips up there that hold that wiring up. So we've got them in there. Now, we can go ahead and put the generator back on, and there's a few other things we have to put on this corner of the engine to get it all buttoned up. Hopefully, maybe before too long, we'll be able to actually try and crank this baby up again. That'd be something. It hasn't run in, oh gosh, 7 or 8 months. Well, we've got everything buttoned up in here. I'm just going to close this up now. The only thing I'm not too sure about is our control box or voltage regulator. The one that was in it before was one from a Ferguson tractor that went with the generator that we're using. This is the right one for the Fordson. So it looked okay. I cleaned the points. We stuck it back in there. If it doesn't work, you can still get these. So we're going to push this box back together now, but I'm not going to put the screws in it. And then we'll go. I've got a few more wires to hook up at the engine there. And we can try a few of the features anyway. We'll see if we can get it to start and see if the horn works. The lights will be a separate issue. Oh, there we go. I've got that all buttoned up. Now it's the moment of truth. We're going to put the battery on and see if any smoke comes out anywhere. There we go. The battery is on. First good sign, the battery is on, but the key is off and we're not showing any discharge. Now we'll double check and make sure the ignition is dead. Yeah, good. Perfect. Now let me turn the ignition on and see what happens. So this should be alive now. Yeah, there we go. We've got ignition. Still nothing here on the generator. That's weird. Our regulator may be kaput. Let's see if we can see the amp meter move when we turn the ignition on. Doesn't look like it. Wonder if the horn works. Well, that's something. And you can see the amp meter jump, right? Although it looks like I've got it hooked up backwards. Now, let's see if the engine will crank. We got to make sure it's in neutral. This thing does not have any type of neutral safety switch. There we go. All right. So we're making some progress anyway. So anyway, I think we're getting near to being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel with this thing. The electrical is always a little, it's mentally taxing, and you never know quite how it's going to work out with these old parts. So I'm stuck now. I'm stopped. I'm waiting for parts again. I've ordered a bunch of stuff to put all the lighting system and everything back together on it. So that'll be in the next video. I won't start that until I've got all my parts. We're going to try and the lighting system for this is just impossible to find. I told you a long time ago in one of the previous videos that there was a place in England I found that was reproducing the headlight lenses. Well, that's just not the case. They advertise them, but nobody answers emails. You can't find them. There's none for sale anywhere. So we're back to being on our own with the headlights. Anyway, I thought of something. I had an idea. Ordered some stuff. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, that'll do it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Please, if you haven't already, down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Love hearing from y'all. And until we meet again, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks and so long.